by no means we're going to sit here and say, oh, we're fixed, we're this great offense. We're not there yet. Just like last week after a loss, I'm not going to sit here and dwell on, the losses and where we're bad. After a win, I'm not going to sit here and say, this is all the good things we're doing. We still have a long way to go, and we've got a really talented defense coming in here this week.
Hi everybody, I'm Missi Matthews. Welcome to the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. We are talking Sunday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks coming into Heinz Field. Let's introduce you to our panelists today. Mike Prisuta from the DVE Morning Show, outside looking fresh on the practice field. Max Starks of the Steelers Radio Network, former offensive lineman. We also have Matt Williamson of Steelers Nation Radio as well. In Prisuta, I'll start with you. We heard there from Ben Roethlisberger saying not a finished product, lots to work on heading into this game and the rest of the season. But do you feel like the Steelers turned a corner, and what gives you faith that they have after the win against the Broncos?
I do not. I kind of look based on the 1-3 start. I was looking at the Denver game and the Seattle game as kind of one long game, Missy. I think if they're able to beat Seattle, get to the bye at 3-3, I think that gives everybody a great opportunity to exhale. I think the team will have kind of reestablished a little equilibrium, if not built a little bit of momentum. 3-3, you got some time to get some guys healthier and figure some stuff out. 2-4. Going into the bye, and this is going to be a monumental climb uphill. So job's only half done. I agree wholeheartedly with Ben Roethlisberger said to open the show. No reason to feel like anything's fixed yet.
Well, Triv, Coach talked about that buy-in, the culture here with the Steelers. Did you see any of that against the Broncos?
Oh, I've seen that all along. The most recent examples, the play that Ray McLeod made, I think it was Mike Purcell, defensive lineman, tipped a pass in the first quarter, and he was going to intercept it. And you see Ray McLeod turning himself into a missile and just diving into the play to knock the ball away from Purcell and make sure that wasn't an interception. That's the latest. There have been a number of examples of max effort to me and guys going all out. And to me, if you're going all out, that means you're buying in. But they're going to need more of the same coming up against the Seahawks.
All right, Max, sticking with the offense, let's look at some of the numbers weeks 1-4 versus what they were able to do week 5 against the Broncos. And of course, you see the improvements, especially on the third down percentages. The running game got going. So how did the Steelers duplicate and add on to what they were able to do against the Broncos?
Well, I think it comes down to this, Missy. It comes down to doing exactly what you did against the Broncos, against the Seahawks. The Seahawks come in as the last ranked rush defense. You saw what Cleveland just eviscerated them and gave them a tough time. I think you have to continue with what you're building. The offensive line looked great. They actually knew what they were doing. They actually went at the same guys without using a lot of motion, without a lot of crazy, trying mind games, so to speak. They weren't playing with the 3 cups and trying to stack them and hide the nut from you. They went straight at it. They said, hey, this is how we're lining up. They used 2 and 3 tight ends. They used Derek Watt, a couple of 22 personnel situations. That's the way they have to do it. They have to be a physical and just a very literal run offense. And it's what Najee Harris is used to. And I think we kind of saw Najee kind of feel that Bama nostalgia was saying, uh-oh, I got 2 tight ends. I got a fullback. We're running lead. Let's go. And I think you have to kind of do the same things with that, because this Seattle defense is going to line up 5 guys on the line of scrimmage. And for anybody, it's going to be confusing about who that most dangerous man is. Who do we need to block? Well, in the run game, it's going to be those guys. And then how do you get to the Mike linebacker? They have to stick to this same formula. Stop getting cute. Run what you did last week. Switch up the formations a little bit, but keep that tempo and that cadence. I want to see Najee again with 20-plus carries in this game. I don't want to see him with 14 and 14 where it's receptions and rushing attempts. That has to be, make him more running back and then let the passing game be a nuanced thing off of it.
Now, Matt, we know Juju Smith-Schuster underwent surgery yesterday, out for the rest of the season. He was at practice today here at the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex. You could just see his teammates, how happy they were to see him there. You see him and Coach Tomlin How do the Steelers replace him? Ben said you can't, but they have to. He can't play in this game against Seattle. So what do you see the Steelers doing in terms of adjusting their offense?
Two things, honestly. I mean, people might not realize this, but every game this year before his injury, Juju was the snap leader amongst all the wide receivers. I mean, each and every game. And a big reason why is because he's a good blocker. And they've been doing everything possible to get this running game going. Blocking out of the slot is very important. However, when he went out of this past game, Claypool did a lot of work from the slot. And I didn't really foresee that from Chase whenever he was drafted. I thought he'd be more of a big outside the numbers type, but he did very well. He was very productive. I think he'll bring more of a vertical element from the slot. He was an exceptional blocker at Notre Dame. That's been a little bit of a work in progress at this level. But so I think you'll see a lot of that. As Max mentioned, a lot more 12 personnel. I mean, these tight ends are playing a lot of snaps, including Gentry. And you can call Eric Ebron a tight end if you want, or he really is a big slot receiver anyway. So I'm sure he'll take that role. You might see a little bit more of Watt. Harris can detach outside. So Juju's hard to replace, but they have options.
Matt, in terms of the pass catching options minus Juju Smith-Schuster, has Pat Freiermuth's time finally arrived? I've talked on this program before. I've talked on our preview show that we do on Thursday nights. I keep seeing matchups where I think Pat Freiermuth can really be an advantage to the Steelers offense. And Ben Roethlisberger even mentioned this week, maybe I should start throwing to him more.
I think so as well. You and I have talked about this every week, that it seems like he's the perfect middle of the field option for this team to use. And they have not, over the last year and a half, have not attacked the middle of the field as much as they have to. Tight ends notoriously don't produce a lot as a rookie, and usually take a 2 or 3 years to really get their feet and the timing and everything that's asked of them under them at the NFL level. But he certainly looks ahead of the curve. And of all three of those tight ends, all of whom are used a lot, I expect him to be the one that we see the most of for sure.
All right, guys, it is time now for our Week 6 opening lines across the league, presented by Unibet Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you're in Pennsylvania and are ready to place your wagers on any of this weekend's matchups, download the Unibet PA app, or you can visit pa.unibet.com. Still much more to come here on the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. We're going to talk about the Seattle Seahawks and quarterback Geno Smith, who will be replacing the injured Russell Wilson. We'll be right back.
The best thing when a backup quarterback goes in is they have a running game. So it's going to come down to that, I think. We got to do a good job of, stopping that up front. And if we do that, then we can, really pin our ears back.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks offense. And Matt, I'll start with you today. You heard from Cam Hayward there playing a backup in Geno Smith. He is 12-19 in 31 NFL starts, and filling in for Russell Wilson, Week 5, 10 of 17, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Is it as simple as stopping the run on Sunday?
Not necessarily. I mean, Geno Smith's been around the block, and he has ability. He's a former pretty high pick. They have an extra long week to prepare for this with the new quarterback, so they may throw some things at you that you're not used to seeing. Metcalf and Lockett are an exceptional pair of receivers, especially as downfield threats, and I'm sure they'll take their shots. A big key to me, though, Missy, is this offense of Seattle has been exceptional at valuing the football and not turning it over. And a lot of that is Wilson. He's thrown 1 interception all year. And if you look at Geno's history, turnover's been a problem. That being said, he hasn't started a game, I don't think, since 2017. So he's kind of hard to get a read on.
Max, in terms of their dangerous duo, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, they are the only wide receiver duo in the National Football League right now with 350-plus receiving yards and 3 or more receiving touchdowns. Are they as dangerous without Russell Wilson?
Well, I think that's gonna be the question: is can they be as dangerous without
I like that.
Good old dangerous. When I look at this, I think, let's put it this way. If you put DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett on any offense with any other starting quarterback in the NFL, it's a problem. The only thing that I have to say that might be an actual negative to this dynamic duo might be Geno Smith. Just because if Geno is forced to have to pass, like you heard a clip with Cam say that if we could stop the run, if we could stop Chris Carson, if we could stop this offensive line, which they have a very big dominating offensive line, right? You're looking at Gabe Jackson, former Raider. He's there paired up with Dwayne Brown. They have a big unit over there that can move the ball if the Steelers give up the gashing holes like they did against Cincinnati and the Raiders. That's going to be a problem. The one thing I do like about this combo is you get Cam Sutton back this week, right? He actually participated in full with no limitations. And then you have gotten a lot of value, time, and reps with Arthur Millette, with Trey Norwood, and with James Pierre. And James Pierre having that confidence at the end of the game, not only to tip a pass in the end zone, but then to intercept a pass later in that drive. So I think you have the right pieces to throw enough stuff at it that you can combat that, but it's going to start with stopping the run and applying pressure to Geno Smith, who we know historically does not do well with pressure, and that's T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, and Cam Hayward providing said pressure.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't have the history that Wilson has. I mean, very, very, very few quarterbacks have the history that Wilson has of being able to improvise, being able to pull a rabbit out of the hat, being able to be slippery and elusive and come up with something. And I think, over the years, not as much Metcalf, but Lockett in particular, when things break down, those guys have almost a sixth sense between one another, and they're able to make big plays out of it. I don't think Seattle should or can expect the same kind of chemistry with Geno Smith and the same kind of combustibility when things go off the rails. So it's the Steelers' job. I agree wholeheartedly with the pressure concept. Make it go off the rails and see what happens then. But a capable offense, even without Russell Wilson, based on what they have at running back and receiver. For some reason, Seattle's had a hard time possessing the ball this year, even though it hasn't turned it over. But when it's had it, it's been able to inflict some damage. The problem's been on the other side.
Yeah, well, and Russ is the one that's been the glue. Even when everything's been bad, Russ has always been that catalyst. And losing him, this will be our first chance to really see losing him and how they can do, because with him, they still couldn't score points. So it's going to be even more of a challenge now that you have a new quarterback back there.
The thing that worries me, and much less with Geno behind center, is Wilson's an elite deep passer. And both these guys can really, really get downfield if protection holds up. And the Steelers have allowed some deep balls this year. So I think they'll be pretty cautious about that.
I'll tell you what, I think he's got a physical skill set, Smith. I mean, watching that Rams game, I mean, he's a big guy. He's got the mobility. He had a 98-yard drive for a touchdown against the Rams. He was rolling out, throwing on the run. He was stepping up against the blitz. He was throwing it down the field with authority. He didn't look like a scared kid, because he's not a scared kid. He's been there and he's done that. He just hasn't done it very often for a lot of years now. But I think the capability, again, other than the Russell Wilson magic, which is possessed by very, very few in the history of the game, Geno Smith can play quarterback, I think.
Triv, I know Thursdays are your favorite day because defensive coordinator Keith Butler talks, and he said that, they're probably going to be more basic and only do what they're supposed to do, not the improvising that we see from Russell Wilson. So what do you think that means in terms of the Steelers' plan heading into this one?
I think it's similar to Max's point. Don't break down. Don't give them an opportunity, because they're capable. They can make plays. They got a couple of running backs. Chris Carson, not sure about his status, but he's rushed for 1,000 yards a couple of times in the league. The other guy, Collins, was the guy in Baltimore a few years ago. He had a 900-yard season. We've talked about those receivers. They may get a tight end back, Everett, off the COVID list. If you give them an opportunity, they can take advantage. I think what Keith Butler was referencing today was execution. Make the plays that you're capable of making, play the defense. The Steelers think they're going to have a pretty good idea how the Seahawks are going to attack them. It's a matter of how well the Steelers defend it, not who is trying to attack them for the Seahawks.
Well, and I think Will Dissly, we tend to always forget this guy, but he had a really good game against them last year. And, tight ends have been one of those enigmas. Either we put too much attention on them or not enough attention on them. So now it's about that balance. Even when we're talking about the big
Wait a
plays,
minute. Are you saying tight ends can do a lot of damage if you get the right matchup?
You know what? I just thought of that. It just popped in here right here. Maybe it did.
Does that work both ways?
Yeah. I had a Matt Canada moment. Oh, it's great. Anywho, but I think that's what you have to do, because Minkah had that issue, right? We were paying so much attention to tight ends and to Darren Waller, and then Henry Ruggs beat you over the top. I think Will Dissly is no Darren Waller, but he is a very capable guy that Russell trusted a whole lot in this offense. And so if you can't get to Lockett and Metcalf, look to them to get him involved so that you can free up the back end, so that you do get a safety that's trying to be nosy, and you might get that deep post route to Tyler Lockett or even DK if Will Dissly gets in a rhythm early in this game.
Guys, to take that one step further, if I were Seattle right now, they're kind of searching for a third wide receiver, and they have been for a while now. You mentioned Everett's coming off the COVID list, Dissly. I would play a ton of 12 personnel, try to keep the Steelers defense in their base, their 3-4. They're a little thin right now at defensive line outside Cam Hayward. I want as many of those Steeler big bodies on the field as much as possible, especially as Max mentioned before, with Sutton coming back, the secondary is becoming more of a strength as opposed to the big men on defense. So I would expect some heavy personnel.
All right, guys, it is time now to tell you about Pick and Win presented by Unibet. Each week, participants can answer a variety of trivia and predictive questions to earn points. The person with the most at the end of each week will win a prize, and the grand prize at the end of the season to the top points getter is a trip to the Pro Bowl in Las Vegas. It's free and easy to play. Just download the Steelers official mobile app, create a fan profile, and find the Pick and Win banner under the Fan Zone section. All right, guys, great discussion today. Looking forward to a primetime game, the first for the Steelers this year when the Seahawks come to town. That's going to do it for this edition of the Matchup Show presented by Unibet. We'll see everybody here next week.
What's up, Steelers Nation? It's TJ Watt. Welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers official YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on everything going on in the Steel City. Thank you for being the best fans in football. Here we go.